there everyone, it's Kathy Champion, and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Today's an informational video, and I feel like this is something that all of us need to be aware of. There's been so many questions and so much heartache over the discontinuance of the Stampin' Up! Stamparatus. I did some research, extensive research, to find out exactly what was going on. This was not a decision that Stampin' Up! Wanted to make. This was a legal issue that they had to make. The makers of the Misty, My Sweet Petunia, have a patent on a stamping platform. Now, I have to say that our stamping platform is nothing like the Misty. I have two Misties that I owned prior to buying this because everyone needs a stamp positional tool. That is needless to say. If you are a card maker, if you like to do projects where you have to stamp your images, you need a stamp positional tool. Now, the reason that this was discontinued by Stampin' Up, Stampin' Up! Had been in a legal fight with My Sweet Petunia since 2019. Finally, they just had to give it up because My Sweet Petunia was not going to give it up. I looked to see the length of a patent. They applied for theirs in 2019, I believe, and it's good for 20 years. I don't think they can renew after that, but their patent is good for 20 years. So that means 19 and 20, 30, in 2038, most companies then can produce a similar thing as a Misty, which is a stamping platform tool, and I don't think they can do a lawsuit after that. But I wanted to go over, for any of you that watch me on my channel or any other of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, I want to show you what you get when you buy this tool. It comes with two removable doors, again something that the Misty does not do. You have two, and you have a place on here on the base where you can put two doors, one to the side, one to the bottom or the top, depending on how. I usually use my Stamparatus in this position. So if I'm using two plates, I'll have one here and one here. But most of the time, if I'm just using it with one, I usually have this one to my left, and I stamp it, pushing it over to the right. That's just my preference. Okay, the Stamparatus comes with this black foam mat that you would put in here and use if you're using photopolymer stamps. Now you would take this out and just use your regular plate here. I got something sticky right there on mine, but never, you know, this is very cleanable. I use just a alcohol wipe. You can use stamp cleaner or whatever, clean this up. The same with the doors, because our grid is etched in the plate itself, so you can clean this off with just an alcohol wipe. Cleans up beautifully, and you're ready to put this back on and continue with your stamping. So it cleans up beautifully. I want to show you, we have a place for our magnets on the back. So it has a place that parks both of your magnets. It does come with two of these very strong magnets. Do not allow them to kiss. They kiss so hard they will shatter. So I'm just saying the best thing to do is keep them far apart from each other. The accessories that are now available, and starting tomorrow, the Stamparatus itself is not discounted. The accessories, the extra set of magnets are reduced to $3. I believe, no, $6. They're regularly $12, so 50% off. The Stampin' Pierce mat, not the Stampin' Pierce, I'm sorry, the Imperial mat, which fits inside here, just like this. This is also white. You can wipe this off. It's not a paper. It has a coating over it, like a plastic coating that is cleanable, and this is a great substitute for this. This Imperial replacement mat is on sale, and I believe it is $3. And also the small grid paper. this fits in here beautifully, and it's metric on one side and imperial measurements on the other. This particular mat is imperial. Maybe in some other countries that have has the metric system, you might be able to get it in metric. But for us here in the States, it is the imperial measurements because that's what we use. I'm going to wipe that off with a paper towel so it doesn't stay wet. But the same thing with our plates here. Now, I want to explain something that sets this apart from other stamp platforms. If you're interested in one of these, I would say run fast to my website, and I'll put my link right here, and that will take you directly to my site where you can order this, and I'll also have the order number running across here so that you can get this number. Any of these accessories that you want, the paper sheets, the grid paper, or the imperial mat, grab those. Grab them ASAP. They're going to go away very fast. But let me explain what sets the Misty apart. The Stamparatus apart from the Misty. And I don't normally do videos where I say one product is better than another. But under these circumstances, I'm going to tell you the Stamparatus far exceeds the Misty. By miles. One thing is, you can put a piece of paper, and we're going to grab just a piece. First off, if you've got a larger piece of paper, that will hang over the edge here. With the Misty, you're refined, because when you put that door down, it's going to put a crease in your paper. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to bring out the small one, just for the sake of the video. Your door doesn't have a place to lift it, so I put tape on mine. You're limited with your paper, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you wanted to use, and this is the smaller one, their magnets clank together too, but they're not quite as strong as the ones there. But you see, if we put this in here and we mash our door down, we're going to impress into our paper right here. That's just the nature of this. You do have this tiny little foam mat. You take it out if you were using the other stamps. It doesn't have a grid for the top of it. I made one. And this was back when I was using this over and over and over. I don't use this anymore. I have replaced it with my Stamparatus because it does so much more. Okay, putting this piece of paper back in. Let's say we wanted to stamp, and I'm going to use this stamp. I'd used this stamp this morning. Let me wipe it off really quick. I'm just going to clean it with my cloth really quick. I've got a little stamp cleaner on here from where I was using it earlier. But let's say you wanted to stamp "Have a Perfect Birthday" all the way down the side of your project. With the Stamparatus, you can do that because you have this hinge door that allows you to remove your hinge. And I'm going to do this in Night of Navy just as a demonstration. So we're going to, and you know what? I got this imperial mat in, and I don't need it because I'm using a clean stamp. So let's put that in there like that. So now let's say we wanted to move this, and I'm going to put a magnet on this. That first stamp probably is not going to be perfect. I'll tell you what, let's turn it over. Paper has two sides for a reason. I'm going to put a magnet over there just to hold this down. I'm going to go back and position it in that first position and give it a good press. Now I can re-ink that where it's at, because I noticed I didn't get it really good right there in that corner. That's much better. If you put something in here and it doesn't work right there in that corner, you can use a silicone craft sheet in the corner, which lifts it up just a hair and helps you get that perfect placement. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now it stamps there perfect. I'm going to turn that around. We're going to do it on this corner. These are trial and errors, but I'm here to tell you this position tool is the best one you'll ever use because of all the features that it has that no other stamp position tool has. All right, we're going to ink it again and then give it a press. Perfecto. I'm going to ink it again. This time I'm going to move it down one notch and press it. Perfect. Maybe that H needs a little bit more ink. Beautiful. Ink it. Lift it. Move it down one more notch. And all the way down, you can get your happy birthday in increments all the way down. I think it's beautiful. I think it's perfect the way you can do this. You can do this with images, sentiments, whatever, and it works perfect every time because just because of what it is. It is a beautiful stamp positional tool. Now I'm going to wipe that off. And I want to show you if you were doing two-step stamping. Let's bring this side back over. And let's take this stamp off. And let me grab, I'm going to grab Two-Tone Flora. That's a perfect example of a two-tone or two-step stamping. And that's the stamp set right here. And you can see you have two different flowers. So let's do the solid flower first. And let's bring our magnet over. Let's decide where we want to stamp this, and I want to stamp it right there. So I'm going to bring my plate back up where I would normally, you know what, we need our Imperial Matte. So let's put this one, I don't think we need that now. Nah, we'll just do it with our matte. Alright, and let's bring this flower back in. And let's put him right there. And say you wanted to do multiples of this. Maybe you have a square piece of paper and you want to do multiples of this particular stamp. What I would do is have a scrap of paper, and for this I'm going to go ahead and grab out, you know what, I've got some over here. I've got some used grid paper, so we're going to use it. Let's put this in because we're going to stamp off first. And if y'all excuse me just a minute, I'm going to get a sip of my tea before it gets cold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and I'm going to use polished pink on this. So I'm going to ink that up. I want to stamp it off. Now I'm going to lift that out, and I'm going to stamp this down. This is going to give me a lighter image, exactly what I want. Now we're going to come in and we're going to take our detailed, but look what we can do. We can flip this one over so we don't have to move that one. I'm going to lay that there so if it has ink on it, it will be fine. Now we're going to grab the other, the detailed one, that's this one, and we want to center this up directly over top of our flower. And that looks perfect. So now, because we've got the other side of this door, we can just go in and pick that up, and guess what? We're going to ink this one full strength. And you can leave these two flowers on the door if you were making multiples of these, and be able to do this over and over and over without having to move stamps every time. And look how gorgeous that is. I mean, look at the detail. Beautiful flower, right? The Stamparatus allows you to do this. Now, if we wanted to do multiples on this, you can just keep going and stamp as many of these as you like. Clean that off real quick. Let's turn it over and clean this one as well. And the good thing about it, you can use your Stampin' Mist to clean up. And see, I got ink on that side. I can just clean that off right with my with this. Like I said, there's no other stamp platform quite like the Stamparatus. It really makes me sad that companies can be so money hungry that they would infringe people from being able. Now, I grant you, this person came out with the idea of the stamping platform, and she wants to protect her interests. I understand that. But if somebody invents a better wheel, allow them to bring that better wheel. If their wheel works better, you know, they have the opportunity to make their stamping platform like this one and make it better. So why they would fight someone with a patent and keep us from being able to use ours is beyond me. But, you know, companies are money hungry, and that's what we deal with here in America. It's sad. It's a sad way of life, but it's the way things are. So, with all that being said, I will tell you, grab your Stamparatus, grab your supplies, your magnets, that Imperial mat. Get it while they're there. They're going to fly off the shelf, I promise you. So all of my information will be on the screen as well as in the description below this video. And please, I would love for you to choose me as your demonstrator if you have not already. And I will be here to serve you in every way possible. I'm going to put this video under I didn't know I needed to know that, because a lot of you probably don't know the reason why Stampin' Up! Had to make this decision to get rid of the Stamparatus. It makes my heart sad, and I'm sure you are as much sad as I am. But I want to thank you for tuning in.